I want to congratulate Coach Grant, great guy, great coach. I really respect that they went on the road in this whole deal, and I wish them luck. Second thing I want to do is say thank you to the NIT. We're incredibly thankful for the opportunity to play postseason minutes. Leland played in the CBI, and Nico played a couple garbage minutes at Illinois, but nobody else on our team had any postseason experience. So this was incredibly important for us and our players, and it's something we were really excited to do. I love basketball, and I want to keep going, and I don't want to shy away from challenges, and I'm thankful for this challenge. Now, the last thing I want to say is our expectations are higher than this. But in year one, nobody's ever won 18 games. And if you look at the history of the school, the two hardest schedules in the history of the school were Dusty's last year and ours this year. And so not only has nobody ever done it before, we did it with the second hardest schedule in the history of the school. There's only 5 teams in the history of FAU to win 18 games. We're number 6, and this is in year one with 11 new guys. And the last thing I'll say is this: it took the other teams to get to 18, 19, whatever wins it was, 4 or 5 years, and we got there year one. So our year 2 is going to be somebody else's year 4 or 5, and that's our expectation. You know, this isn't up to the standard, but I'm thankful for the 11 new guys coming and giving us something to build on. I think we got to jump steps that I don't know we thought we'd be able to jump last April when we had nobody on the team. And so for that, I'm incredibly thankful. And then the last thing I want to say is a thank you to the fans. I thought there was moments early on where it's as loud as it's been. And that's a real privilege and honor for us. So I want to say thank you for that. Any questions?
Coach Jakus, I want you to please talk about the growth that your team has achieved throughout the whole season as far as chemistry is concerned.
Yeah, I think our guys love each other. These guys can answer that. We went on the limb, and we only took 2 fifth-year seniors. The other 11 guys can all return. And in today's culture, people would tell you that's crazy because everybody goes in the portal. But we thought we could build a family, and so we've really doubled down on the idea that we're going to try to keep as many of these guys together as we can, and we want FAU to be a place people stay.
Kaleb, would you like to chime in on that?
Go ahead.
Basically what he said. Just want to be a family, and hopefully we can return everybody and make a run next year.
Coach, looking ahead to the offseason, you've seen just how extreme the portal can get these days, making an entire new team of 11 guys and whatnot. Do you feel like that experience maybe prepared you better for this time around, and do you feel like maybe you have a bit of an edge since you've seen just how bad it can get?
Yeah, 1, I think we're going to have more than 0 players to start, so that'll give you an advantage. 2, we're wading deeper into the process last year. We got Kaleb very early on, which we were thankful for. Him and Max were our first signees, but we waited for him till after the draft. And so I think we're going to be, or the draft combine, we're going to be able to speed this thing up, and I think identify 2 or 3 we need much sooner. Now, we haven't made any extreme calls. We like to wait till the portal opens. But we'll do that. We'll start watching film, and by next week, our plan will be real evident.
Looking at the game a little bit, start of the second half was a struggle, and you guys finished really strong. Obviously, no game after this, but is there anything you can take from that effort down the stretch?
I think I told the guys maybe 5 times in my career, maybe more. I'm just frustrated by it. The last 2 games, we've had over a 1.2 offense, so 120 points per 100 possessions. That would be a top 10 offense most years in the country. And we lost both games, which is incredibly difficult to do. We shot 51, 41, and almost 70 and lost. So the takeaway is that these guys have learned to be productive offensively. We're going to have to learn to win some close games and some big moments with our defense. And that's the main thing I took away.
Bob, you came here with right out of the NBA draft combine. How do you feel like this season and Coach Jakus helped you elevate your potential draft stock for next year?
I think they really helped me since I got on campus. I've had all the coaches support me. Had Coach B, Isaiah, Eric. I've had all the coaches come with me every morning, work out in summer, in the afternoons, come back, and they really helped me grow in my game. And then during the season, they've allowed me to be one of the guys that gets to be involved in most actions, offensively and defensively. I feel like they really helped me grow my game this year.
Coach, for you personally, it's your first year as a regular head coach. What is maybe the biggest thing you've learned about yourself as a coach, being it's your first year managing a team?
Yeah, the first thing I think is I miss player development relationships. So the thing that Bob was talking about, the 7 a.m. that he does with Coach Fee and Coach Isaiah every morning, the 8 a.m. he does every day with Coach AD, that's gone. So now you're having to delegate, trust, and then do some CEO things. And I would say off the floor has been the most learning curve, especially with NIL, the portal, and the constant change of everything. So the CEO portion was probably the most. Basketball, I feel like you have a good staff. There's some things we left on the table this year, but the stuff away from the floor that you're constantly having to deal with is
Coach, obviously looking at the portal, you will have to make up for the key departures in Ken, Kiki, and Jack, and making the effort to keep some of the guys who will be around next year. How pivotal is it going to be to keep emphasizing that message that you can win at FEU, that this program is still destined for greater things in the long term?
Yeah, I think our relationships are strong internationally in America. People trust us from our past and our success. I think there's two things that recruit players right now. One is NIL money, and two is other players. And they'll come if their friends are here or they have a good reference, and the money is here. And people want to be in paradise. I think we had 15 guys come on campus and 11 said yes. So it's not like we swung and missed. You get off the plane and you're an international kid, you land in Miami, or you're an American and you land in Fort Lauderdale. I mean, 10 feet out the door, we already have an advantage. And we are thankful for the last staff. They took FAU and they made it a brand that's identifiable. And I don't think between the ESPN deal this year and recent history that's going to go away. But kids will commit when their friends tell them that it's a good idea, and then I know it's close enough for them to make a wise decision.
Coach, how do you anticipate the coming days going with face-to-face meetings with players? Do you guys have like year-end meetings? How does it go to see where their heads are at?
Yeah, we already had some key face-to-face meetings with some adults in their life in the intermediate while they were still playing, and I think we'll take the next step and flip those adult meetings into player meetings. And so we've hinted at some things, or talked to some things with some of the guys, but we'll get more specific before the portal opens on the 24th.
Coach, can we evaluate like Devin, especially his development throughout the season, especially late in the year, he really started to pick things up offensively. Looked amazing on defense today. Can we talk about him and his growth that you've seen over this year?
Yeah, I think two things we've proved. One is that players get better here. If you look at KG's numbers from Louisville to now, you look at his numbers from Florida State to now, both drastically improved. Trey's the most improved player in our league, and we play freshmen. So Matas got to play, he was a freshman of the year, and Dev had to wait a little longer, but he skipped his senior year, so he's really only a freshman right now. He's the age of a regular freshman. And he earned everything he did. And just like these guys, he was working behind the scenes when no one was watching. I thought his game at Memphis was a little bit of a mess. And sometimes when something hard happens to a freshman, you find out what's inside of them. And I think Devin's greatest attribute is that he's a fighter. And you see that in him defensively. I'm convinced if he stays, he'll be one of the best defensive players in the league within the next 2 years. I think he'd be the best defensive guard in our league. And somebody's going to get a great player. I hope it's us. Because when he wakes up 1 or 2 years from now, he's going to be fantastic. And I'm just glad that he stuck with it. And his main quality is that he's got perseverance. And he gets that from his parents. And I think we're lucky to have it.
Coach,
Last question.
Coach, please talk about the growth of Trey Carroll as a leader, not just a basketball player.
Yeah, the number one thing Trey did as a leader is he said yes. So everybody else went someplace else, and Trey said, I want to be at FAU, and some things started going from there. So I would say the second thing is that there are moments where Trey, with his personality and Aquaman qualities and a little bit extroverted, you know, sometimes he's misunderstood. But as the season went on, and I think the other guys on the team started to figure out he doesn't care about winning, he cares about them. They started to receive it a little bit better. And I think Trey learned what it meant to be reciprocated. And I thought he really grew up over the season slowly. It wasn't just his offense, but it was his relationships with the coaches and the staff, the players.
John, last question.
Funny enough, that was pretty much my question, but I'll pivot. You really summed up well on that second point that you made, what you guys have accomplished this season. How significant was it for you to be able to come home and have one more home game, just to end it here at home? You said you felt the crowd and these guys got the postseason experience.
Yeah, we weren't saying no, and everybody reacts differently to the NIT. You can look, I think 4 of the games last night were separation by over 20 points. Sometimes people want to go, sometimes people don't. Sometimes they're shocked by it. You got the emotion of the NCAA and Selection Sunday. I thought our guys showed in the last 10 minutes that they were going to take this opportunity seriously no matter what happened. And I'm incredibly proud of that. And we've done that a bunch this season where we'll get down and then we don't quit. I think next year the key is instead of getting down and showing perseverance, we need to show some grit with our defense a little earlier on. But I thought tonight was great for us.
Thank you, guys.
Have a great night.